What's up everybody? Mike McIntyre here from All Things Sports, bringing you a very special video. It's also my last video of 2017. So with that being said, I hope you all had a fantastic Christmas. Happy holidays, happy new year. I hope you enjoyed the rest of your 2017. Looking forward to 2018. I wish you all the very best. And we're going to talk today about the top 5 releases in the footballing boot world of 2017. So without further ado, let's roll. Alright guys, so today we're going to talk about my top 5 releases of 2017. Now, to start things off, I'm going to talk about a boot that was released early on in 2017, specifically February of 2017, the Nike Hypervenom Phantom 3 in the low-cut variant. With the Hypervenom Phantom 3, I really think Nike released an extremely good boot. The low-cut variant is fantastic. It fits comfortably. It's made of a very comfortable Flyknit material. It's very responsive thanks to the fly wire that's integrated into the lacing system. It's got ACC, and it's a very comfortable boot as well. It's extremely responsive, and it fits most feet very, very well. It's not as narrow as something like the Mercurial, but it's also not quite as wide as the Magista, so it fits right in the middle of those two, and it fits a lot of different people, and I really think it's a fantastic boot. One of the reasons I didn't put it a little bit higher up on my list is because of the stud pattern. Now, I think the sole plate as a whole is fine, but I'm not the biggest fan of the stud pattern itself. I don't like the fact that it has sort of hexagonal studs on one side of the sole plate and then these sort of bladed studs along the other. But if they were to put conical studs on this sole plate, something like the Magista, I really think the Hypervenom Phantom 3 would have been a fantastic release. So that is my 5th boot of 2017. Coming in at number 4 is the Adidas Nemesis 17.1. Now, I think the Nemesis line did a lot for Adidas this year. It sort of brought in a new boot to their sort of silo lineup. Of course, before we did have the Messi model, but the Messi model, I mentioned this when I first reviewed the Nemesis, the Messi model always felt like something that was on the side. It didn't sort of fit in well with the X and the Ace. So I really think when they brought in the Nemesis this year, it gave people another option. Even if you look at the pro scene, not very many people wore the Messi boot. Messi did, obviously, because he's got his name on it, but not many people wore that. Nowadays, you see people in the X, you see people in the Ace, you see people in the Nemesis. I really think it was a solid boot from Adidas. It had a fantastic upper, extremely comfortable. It was similar to the Hypervenom in a way that it fit a lot of different people. It wasn't overly wide and it wasn't narrow, so it could fit a lot of different foot types. And that Agility Knit 2.0 material that they used on the upper was a brilliant idea, honestly. I thought it fit most people very, very well. And I liked the sole plate. I liked everything about it, except the only thing that I could knock on it was sort of the cut of the ankle area. It had that sort of triangle pattern, and it's not uncomfortable, but it wasn't comfortable either. So it would take some getting used to. And again, that's why it's at number 4 on my list. But for the rest of the shoe, I thought it was fantastic and a very, very good boot for Adidas. At number 3, we're gonna put in the Adidas Ace 17.1. More specifically, the Prime Knit variation. The Ace 17 came out in the Pure Control, the Prime Knit, and the leather version. I was lucky enough to have all 3 this past year, and if you're talking about pure performance, there's absolutely no doubt that the 17.1 Prime Knit was the best performing shoe of the 3. It was extremely comfortable with the Prime Knit material on the forefoot. It had a fantastic sole plate. The stud pattern is my absolute favorite. And I do think that the collar was a nice design. It's this sort of modern technology that wraps your foot in nicely, but it's not overly done. It's not over the top like the Nike Dynamic Fit collars anymore. It's a nice height. It's not too high, not too low, giving you a modern fit. The one thing I could knock about the Ace 17 is the control skin material, if you will. The back 2/3 of the shoe was not made from Prime Knit. It was made from this control skin material. So by no means is it bad, and it's giving the shoe the responsiveness that you need. So in that regard, it's fantastic, but it's just not quite as soft as something like the Prime Knit or the all-out Fly Knit of some of the Nike models. So at number 2, we have a tie. I really just couldn't break it down between these 2 boots, specifically because I haven't had the chance to try one of them yet. So at number 2, I'm going to put in the Puma Evo Power Vigors. Those were absolutely fantastic, and to be honest, one of my favorite boots of this year. And I'm going to tie in with it the Puma Future 18. I think this boot looks fantastic. I really think it's an extremely solid release from Puma. I just haven't had the chance to try it yet, so I can't put it in as a solid number 2 on my list, but I am so looking forward to getting the chance to try out that boot in this coming year if I possibly can. So far from what I've heard, the fit is phenomenal. I really find it interesting that some companies are going with laceless designs, and here you are with Puma coming out with a very customizable lacing system. So you've got 2 sort of extremes, one that's promoting laces and having you tie them whichever way you want, and the other that says no, we don't need laces, and you can still get this responsiveness. So the Puma Evo Power Vigors, the one that I did have, let's just say that's probably one of the softest uppers that you can possibly get. The material is fantastic. The sole plate was amazing. You have this gradual stability frame that is very flexible where you need it to. It's giving you the stiffness and rigidity where you need it, and it's very stable, it's very responsive, it's extremely soft, and it's just a fantastic boot. So I don't have enough good things to say about the Evo Power Vigors, and I can't wait to try the Puma Future 18. So that is my second boot on my list for 2017. I have one bonus entry. So before I get to number one, I'm gonna say that I'm giving the Nike Flyknit Ultras my sort of bonus entry. The reason I didn't put this in the top 5 or give it a number is simply because I just wasn't able to get my hands on a pair, and because they don't make it in my size. So Nike came out with the Flyknit Ultra, which is basically, I think it's gonna be the Vapor 12. I really think the Superfly is kind of almost second now with this Flyknit Ultra. I think more people are interested in the low-cut versions, and they want a low-cut Flyknit boot. People have been asking for that since the Superfly was launched. So this Flyknit Ultra in the low-cut version is one of the best boots I think that Nike has ever made. It's got an extremely soft upper. It's got the same sort of contoured sole plate that, you know, fits the human foot. I'm not a big fan of the studs on it. I don't like those arrowed blades. That's another reason why I can't sort of put it on my top 5 list, but there's no doubt that it is one of Nike's best releases that they've come up with. So I'm giving that the honorable mention, the Nike Flyknit Ultras. We're going to talk about my top boot of 2017. Now, if you know my channel, if you know sort of my boot history, you're probably not going to be surprised with my answer. I tried to be as unbiased as I possibly could with this sort of video, but hey, after all, it's my opinion, so of course it's biased. So this is my top 5 list. My number 1 boot of 2017 is the Adidas Predator 18. This boot is absolutely phenomenal. I was the biggest fan of the Predators. I had worn every single pair since I was a kid. As soon as I was able to fit into them, I got my first pair of Predators, which was the Predator Pulse of 2004. And I had every single model in different colorways up until the Ace came out in 2015. The Ace did, I think, what it was supposed to do for Adidas, sort of rebrand them in a way and bring them back to the top. Now they're finally bringing the Predator back, and fans like myself, I think for the most part, are ecstatic to see the Predator back. I was lucky enough to get my hands on the Predator 18 Plus model, and the upper was probably the softest upper I think I've ever felt from Adidas shoe, and it was just as soft as the Evo Power Vigor. So my top 2 boots for sure have the softest upper I've ever felt. I like the ridges that they put on the forefoot. It's giving you that sort of reminiscent feel of the Predator elements of old, all these rubber elements that they used to put on the accelerators and the Manias and the Pulse. It's got this modern design with the new cut collar. The collar is actually a very clever design. If you try them on, I think you'll find that the collar fits extremely naturally. So it doesn't feel like something is sort of in the way like other collars, but it's still giving you this wrapped in feel. So the collar's fantastic, the upper's fantastic. The sole plate is basically a sprint frame, just a new twist on it. And I can't wait to actually wear these in 2018. They're fantastic. Some of the colors that I've seen, oof, I think they look phenomenal. So that's my number 1 boot. I want to know what you guys think. What were your top 5 boots of 2017? Leave that down below in the comments. I want to thank you for watching this video, for watching all my content in 2017. 2018 is going to be a great year. I hope you guys join me for the ride. And that's it for today's video. So I'm signing off for now. This was Mike McIntyre with All Things Sports. Take care. See you in 2018. All the best.
Thank you guys very, very much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If so, smash that like button, leave a comment, and consider subscribing for more videos. See you guys next time on All Things Sports by Mike McIntyre.